LAWsome by ConsultWebs. Breakthrough insights to build a thriving law firm with your host, Tanner Jones.
Hello, all you LAWsome listeners. Today on the show, we're talking with James Grant, founding partner of Georgia Trial Attorneys at Kirchen Grant, a personal injury law firm founded in 2015. James is an aggressive and experienced litigator focused on empowering the injured against the insurance company. Following his graduation from law school, James began his career as an assistant solicitor general with the Gwinnett County Solicitor General's Office and the Municipal Court of Sewanee. Now as a founding partner at Georgia Trial Attorneys at Kirchen Grant, James represents and counsels each client and prospective client as a highly trained and hyper-aggressive attorney. He has extensive trial experience in the many different courtrooms across the state. Today's topic is why every lawyer needs to be better at delegating to run a successful law practice. It's an important one, and James, we're grateful for you and for your willingness to come on the show and talk to us about this topic.
No, thanks for having me, Tanner. I'm really pumped about today's podcast.
Good deal. Well, I think it's safe to say first that lawyers often have to juggle multiple responsibilities. Would you say that's safe to say?
I would say that's fair at an absolute minimum.
No question that, I'm working exclusively with law firms for a long time now. I find that is the one constant, that there's always something to do, and often there's very little time to do it. And when it comes to running a practice, obviously, not only are you managing certain admin tasks or even managing people, but you're also delivering legal services, customer service, talking with clients, prospective clients, talking with jurors, with others in the courtroom. It's a lot to handle. So naturally, one skill that's often overlooked, but I would argue is critical for success, is going to be the form of delegation, or the art, should I say, of delegation. So, obviously running your own practice here, James, you have a lot of insight to this. What are some of the benefits that you believe law firms can get from committing to the art of delegation?
I mean, when it comes to delegation, the list it goes on and on and on of benefits that come from delegation, because delegation is where so many things start. I mean, you get speed, you get efficiency, you get time back, you get higher quality clients, you get higher quality staff, you get mental health. I mean, it literally transcends every part of your practice in life. And it's so different than the way people see lawyers and the way that lawyers think that they should operate. But delegation is a tool and a skill that every legal professional needs to learn.
Do you know how many cases you're signing from your marketing investment each month? If you want to diagnose the status of your firm's marketing efforts, then the LAWsome podcast has a gift for you. Discover the best and the most unique legal marketing solutions available today using the Decision-Making Handbook's free printable criteria. Claim your copy in the bio below.
I would agree, and in most instances in life, anything worth having is going to come with its set of challenges or obstacles. Naturally, in starting your practice and just going through your career even, you've been faced with, or I would assume, oversaturation of tasks, right? Which has led to the concept of delegation. But what have you found has been your biggest challenge personally with facing the fact of, I need to hand this to someone else? What's been that key challenge for you?
Yeah, I mean, so in the transition from running a law practice to running a business, you have to embody delegation, because you can't be good at everything. You aren't good at everything. And the days of having a solo practice and being able to be the true solo of doing everything and being everyone to all your clients, it's really just not practical in today's age. So I was channeling my inner old man, so to speak, because I was the number one offender when it comes to delegation. I've resisted it so much.
Sure.
But once you get there, once you start embodying that and establishing that practice, it's so freeing and liberating to allow you to do the things, and especially as my role as a business owner and as a visionary for the firm, I don't need to be worrying about, phones. I don't need to be worrying about technology. I don't need to be worrying about any of the, things that really go on in the law firm day to day. That's a managing partner's job, or that's a supervising paralegal's job. There's so many things that you can put down to the most competent, but also lowest paid employee. The senior partner, owner of a law firm, doesn't need to be answering the phone. But so many law firms, they're picking up the phone. Hey,
No doubt.
how you doing? How can I help you? That's not the best use of the time of that individual, and you have to categorize and figure out, where does everyone in your firm fall? Who do you want in these positions, and how can that benefit you? And go find them and put them in those positions to then free off those tasks. But to answer your question, there's so many challenges within yourself. You have to realize that you aren't the best. You aren't the greatest. There are people out there that are so much better and want to do the things that you may not want to do, and you don't have to be good at all of it. So really just acknowledging that you aren't number one in everything is really the first step to being able to hand off something to someone else.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's important to acknowledge that it is often us, the individual, that gets in the way. And whether it's, you just always done it that way, old habits dying hard, whether it's ego, and we all need to be honest with ourselves sometimes in that respect. But what about maybe other external factors? What about the concept of maybe finding the right person to delegate to? I think maybe we've all experienced not having the right person on the right seat within the firm. Have you ever experienced that? And any advice for listeners who are maybe dealing with that?
Yes, I have. But I think there's also, you have to take a step back and look at that from your perspective as well. They may not be in the right seat, but are they not in the right seat because you didn't put them in the right position to succeed? So many times we think, for example, all right, you're going to hire a receptionist. All right, well, their training is going to be 35 minutes after they sign their paperwork. Oh, here's the phones, answer the phones, and sort the calls.
Yep.
No, that's not delegation.
On the job training, right?
Yeah, you have to train people, and you have to show them this is actually how you do the job. And even further, this is what our firm does. This is what we stand for. These are our core values, and everything goes back to those. And then within that, what is the goal that you're trying to accomplish? What are the metrics that you're measuring success by? And have you been able to communicate those in an effective way such that the person that you're delegating to is able to repeat them back to you and understand, and you're both on the same page as far as understanding this is the task that I'm handing off and this is what you'll be delivering back. So many times it's not necessarily that they're in the wrong seat, but it's that you didn't put them in a position to succeed, and now it's an easy to cop out. Oh, they weren't the right fit, when so many times, and I've done this numerous times as learning to become an entrepreneur and the owner of a business that just so happens to practice law, is you have to put people in the best position to succeed on their terms within the framework that you give them.
Every year we make predictions about legal marketing trends that will affect hundreds of thousands of lawyers across the country. If you've been looking to reach new clients, stay informed, or gain a competitive advantage in your market area, this is your opportunity. Unlock the secrets of success with this exclusive PDF that reveals some of the top legal marketing trends in the industry today. Claim your copy in the bio below.
Such powerful advice, and I love that you turn that corner, because I believe in that very firmly. And I've experienced that. If you haven't documented your process and who you are and really the DNA of your firm, your culture, if that's not intentionally illustrated and trained to new team members, you can't expect them to replicate or even do better than what you've done before. So I think that's a critical part, and I'm glad you mentioned it just on the HR piece. But that just goes to show that lawyers who go to law school to practice law and then hang a shingle, start to practice law and run a firm, they find quickly that they're not totally prepared to run a business. Clearly, HR that you've hit on, the ability to not only hire correctly, but once you've hired, to onboard properly and to train properly. I would say that communication clearly is another important skill set for effective delegation. What do you see as other important skill sets, whether hard skills or soft skills, that a lawyer should really sharpen or focus on if they're committed to effectively delegating?
Yeah, you hit on the first one, which is communication right off the bat. You have to be able to say it to another person and them understand that. in my line of work, we litigate personal injury cases for other law firms. And within that, we have a lot of litigation clients. We don't really do pre-lit. So we're focusing on all of our caseload, eventually potentially going to trial and planning for that. And I have to be able to sell, whether 6 or 12 jurors, that my perspective, my communication style, my way of viewing things is the only correct way. So you have to be able to take that, because so many lawyers are so good at communicating in the courtroom, but then when they step back and sit in their office, everything flies out the window, and it's more of, well, it's my way or the highway. Nope. You have to find out, where is the person that you're communicating with? Where are they? And where do either they want to go, where do you want to go, and how can we merge those two paths together, as opposed to just, kind of like you said, on-the-job training, or just throwing them to the wolves, or, this is the way you have to do it because this is the way that we've always done it, and I'm not going to listen to anything else. Your communication style and perspective is the first place that you have to start. And then, kind of like we talked about, the other big thing is metrics. You have to have objective metrics for success. So much of the practice of law, we look at things from a subjective standpoint of, oh, well, how does this make me feel? And are my clients happy? Do they like me? Like, those things don't matter. The big things are, can you boil whatever you're doing to an objective number? How can you quantify it? And then you can share it with another person, because, we can both look at a color and you can say it's brown and I can say it's mahogany. Well, that's subjective. Sure. Let's decide what's the code of the color. What's the numbers, and then we know, all right, it's 4753 or whatever it is. Then we know for certain what we're looking at and how to achieve it together. So those are really just the absolute two biggest things that, even when it comes to like delegating my email, I have an executive assistant that handles my email. We just focus on communicating the goals, setting out those, and establishing them in writing. Everyone agrees, and we deal with metrics for success.
Hiring an outside marketing agency can take your firm's business truly to the next level. But having to compare and contrast different legal vendors out there can be a rather overwhelming and complicated process. So we'd like to help you with that. That's why we've created this free digital vendor checklist. It's going to give you the tools and, more importantly, the confidence needed to truly evaluate and vet the potential vendors out there. It's going to help you understand specifically their legal marketing expertise, team qualifications, what they can and cannot do, types of services they offer, and expectations of those services, proof of success. Have they been there before? Have they helped other similar law firms like yours? And arguably, more importantly, your digital ownership rights related to working with them and what you own or do not own. Claim your free printable checklist in the comments below. Rock solid. I'd like to tie this back to the business itself. I think some of us really need to see the pros and cons list, if you will, to take action and to really see the power of it. But I'd like to tie delegation back to profitability within the law office and what you've experienced there. How do you see delegating tasks helping law firms or individual attorneys today be more profitable and efficient? I think those are easy words to say, but what are the practical things that you've experienced in that regard?
First off, thank you for saying the word profitable. I feel like so many lawyers are afraid of it and scared, and they want to whitewash that word and use the word like success. And I have a successful business. What in the world does successful mean? I have no clue what that means, because your version of success is different than my version of success. Sure. Whereas when you use the word profitable, again, that's a key metric. Is your business profitable? That's when you're doing well. That's when your clients are doing well, because if you're not running a profitable business, you're not helping your clients, you're not helping your staff, you're cutting corners somewhere. So first off, thank you for that, because that's really where we need to be driving the conversation. But as far as my firm, it has helped immensely. We started business coaching in October of 2018, and that was one of the first things that we focused on was delegation. And it has helped us be incredibly profitable over the last 5 years. We went from a law firm that was I think we did $674,000 in revenue in 2018. This year we're on track for 2.6 million.
Nice.
And it's because of the simple things, starting with delegation and then learning how to run a business. But when it comes back to what that looks like, from a legal perspective, let's just talk about a lawyer. What do you need a law license to do? There's only really a few things that a lawyer actually needs a law license to do. To argue in court, and attend hearings and depositions, that's one thing. To give legal advice, and then to sign pleadings. Well, with e-filing now, you can e-sign your signature pretty easy, and your paralegal can do it for you. So really, you're only talking about two things: giving legal advice and arguing in court, attending depositions and hearings and things like that. That's it. That's all your lawyers need to be doing. If they're doing anything else, it's administrative in nature. And one big example with my firm, again, we're a litigation law firm. It's what we do. Our attorneys don't handle discovery requests. Our paralegals, our case managers, they handle the discovery request because it's just answering questions. I can train somebody how to put an objection, a standard objection. I can have a very competent but lower paid individual pick up the phone and ask our client for their social security number and date of birth. I don't need an attorney who is paid out at a much higher level to sit on the phone with a client for 2 or 3 hours to ask them a whole bunch of questions that another employee could do. That is where delegation sends it to a whole nother level. And yeah, the attorney's going to review it and check it off, but they don't need to be the one doing it. And that's really where your practice is going to start to thrive, when your attorneys are only focusing on those true attorney tasks. And so many people get wrapped up and thinking that the attorney has to hold the keys to the kingdom and do everything. No. Use your team to assist you to focus on those higher functions, and then make your business more money, make your clients more money, make everyone more money, and be happier about doing it.
Hey there. Perhaps most don't associate lawyers with the social media platform TikTok, but I would encourage you to think again if that's you. The reason being is TikTok is now the #1 most engaging social media platform on the market. It presents truly a lucrative opportunity for lawyers who know how to use it and use it effectively. If you're interested in leveraging TikTok for your law office, grab the free resource in the comments below. Such good practical suggestions there, and really a good challenge for our listeners. You know, if you're hearing this and you haven't gone through that exercise of just going through your own to-do list and identifying, you know, am I the only one capable of doing this at or above standard? And I think it's a good exercise. And if you've done that in the past and you haven't done it recently, now's a good time to revisit that. You know, obviously, James, you've proven this, and we appreciate your time. We appreciate the insight. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners related to this topic?
One final rule that we have implemented across our firm, and we call it the 80% rule. Everyone is judged to a B average. So many people in business expect their team to achieve 100% of the time. It's just not practical. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. Your team is going to mess up. They will drop the ball. Things will go wrong. It's just going to happen. So as long as you accept that, that's going to, #1, be freeing for you. And then it's also going to help your staff and your team, because now you're building a culture where, you know, if you forget to put the staple in the right corner as opposed to the left corner, all of a sudden, you know, somebody just goes off the handle. People are going to make mistakes. And as long as it's a B average and you're only doing it, you know, maybe 20% of the time at worst, okay. Now, if it's happening over and over and over again, yeah, that may be a problem that we need to address. But if it's these one-off things that happen just for whatever reason, people are people. People are going to make mistakes. So don't hold anybody on your team accountable. You know, just let them make that B average, and it's going to be so much better across the board.
James, we appreciate your time. What's the best way for listeners to contact you?
So our toll-free number is also our website. Our website is the best place to go, especially if you're a personal injury lawyer out there. We offer tons of free templates. We like to give away our complaints because, again, it's a rising tide, raises all ships. So it's 833-4-THE-WIN. That's 833-4-THEWIN.com.
Thanks again, James.
Thank you.
LAWsome by ConsultWebs with Tanner Jones. For show notes, links, and info, go to consultwebs.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Watch for the next LAWsome episode to discover more breakthrough insights to build a thriving law firm.